All right, welcome back, traders. We've had quite a volatile week. I think last week I said, correct me if I'm wrong, we were here last week. Last week we were here, and we made an attempted rally and failed. And now we're basically back towards the bottom of the trading range here at 96.5. And I think a lot of the same things are still prevalent on this chart. Nothing really much has changed. Actually, we're getting a weekly MACD cross to the downside here on Bitcoin, which the last MACD cross down we had was here in April of 2024. And in April of 2024, this ensued this massive consolidation correction for Bitcoin. Okay. Obviously, the difference is that we're in price discovery, or we had this breakout. All right. So that's different, right? This consolidation here was below the all-time high. Yeah, so what we need to really pay attention to, which we actually just closed our weekly candle, is the Stochastic RSI, okay? The Stochastic RSI is going to tell us and give us a clue as to when momentum is going to come back into this asset. The weekly here, RSI, got a reset. We're at 61 now on the weekly time frame. And we're no longer overbought on the weekly time frame. That's good. And our 2 days sitting down here at neutral, our daily sitting here at neutral. Okay, we're holding above bearish control zones, which is good, right? I can't really be I can't be like, hey man, we're in bearish territory on the RSIs. We're not in bearish territory on the RSIs. And if you kind of look at the daily, you can see it's just like some flatlining going on here with these wicks and these candles. It's kind of a bunch of nothing burger indecision on the Bitcoin price. Okay. This weekly candle bearishly engulfed last week's candle. We're continuing to see, well, you can see it. We got some lower highs coming in. All right. We have our base here, and we got some buy pressure that came in off this moving average. Kind of a stale. I would almost say that this last week here was kind of a stalemate between buyers and sellers. Technically, the sellers won because, well, we have a little bit of a red body on the candle, but it's not like a big deal, right? It's not like, hey man, massive bearish engulfing candle and we're closing below major moving averages here. No, that didn't quite happen. All right. The monthly candle, we still got like 19 days left of the monthly candle. We can see this wick coming in here. That's good to see. All right, we're still technically holding our monthly engulfing candle for now. If we end up closing the month, okay, if by the end of February we end up closing below 93K, we will then bearishly engulf our last month's candle. Okay, and that will be a really bad thing to see. That would mean that we'll probably see continuation downwards, right? The sellers are in control of the price. All right. So buyers are trying to really defend this bottom of this range. Nothing has changed in terms of where the price action is going to go right now. I still think all we're doing is ranging up here. That's all we're doing. Right now, we're basically in the middle of the range. 100K is the middle of the range, roughly. Okay. So Bitcoin, no real change. We really want to pay attention to, we did just get a MACD cross. All right. Momentum is shifting down is what that's saying on the weekly time frame. All right. Our 2-week time frame here is still okay, but you can see that we're starting to show signs of exhaustion with this bearish divergence on the 2-week time frame. Same with the 3-week, we're starting to show that as well. This all takes time to develop, okay? But this can be negated if we do have a extremely bullish week, or the next couple weeks we get some good price action. The monthly looks fine, still nice and elevated there. But I believe last stream I was talking about these band deviations, okay? And every single time we get them, it marks some sort of local top, or maybe even the top of the cycle, okay? This was a previous market cycle top. This was that retest for the double top, okay? This was our March 2024 top, which was here. Then we had this 6-month consolidation before we ended up breaking out. And then we printed in November, we printed a range deviation here, okay? We ended up ticking higher here, okay? We ended up making a new high off that, right? We ended up going a bit higher. And you can see the band here, we stayed outside the band to make that high. But if you really carefully look at that, it actually looks like what? Bearish divergence on the oscillator, on the monthly time frame. Listen, I'm not bearish Bitcoin. I'm just telling you the momentum that I'm seeing. I know nobody likes to hear this stuff, okay? But when you get bearish divergence in an uptrend, okay, it may not perform that well. It may not perform that well because you're in a massive uptrend. The S&P has been bearishly diverging for months, and nothing really has happened, okay? So just noteworthy to understand what the ranges are doing off this bearish divergence when we do get it, all right? The altcoins got smashed while Bitcoin just sat up here. That should tell you something, okay? Everyone's scared and flooding into Bitcoin because they don't want all that risk, all right? Let's go look at Ethereum. Ethereum just put in a 2-day doji candle right at a trend line. That's very, very good to see. The weekly here also closing back into the structure, tagging a major moving average, tagging a major demand line here, and kind of wicking up. I wouldn't call this a hammer candle because this candle body is still too much on the sell side. If we close this even red, but we closed it up here at 2,800, that would be pretty close to a hammer candle, okay? But that doesn't mean we don't see this try to come back up to test 2,800 again, okay? Because you did get a lot of buying happening down here. You can see that long wick, all right? Let's look at, and you can also see that the weekly momentum is almost touching the buy zone here for a momentum shift. If we go to the 3-day time frame, we can see that, yeah, we got ETH in the buy zone down here on the 3-day time frame. That's good, okay? That's a good sign. That means that if we see continued price action to the upside on ETH here in the coming weeks, days, weeks, we can then confirm the stochastic RSI buy signal above this 20 region, which would then flip our weekly, okay? We want to see some good price action this week on Ethereum and some of these altcoins. And I think that we will, just based off of the momentum that we're seeing, based off the things that were being shown here, okay? At minimum, we should be getting some relief after this major move down. And we'll see how this ends up playing out. Our RSIs are in the buy zone territory here on daily, 2-day, and probably 3-day time frames. Yep, they're all in the buy zones here. Every single time the RSI is down here like this, Ethereum usually is at some sort of low, right? I'm marking them off on the chart. Obviously, when it's completely oversold like that, that's the lowest risk area to take a position on Ethereum, right? I marked them off on the chart. These were the lows. Oversold, this was the bottom. Near oversold, this was the next bottom. Near oversold, this was the next bottom. We just kind of did one of those right here, okay? So you guys get the point. This is probably, I say probably because anything can happen, but it's a high probability that we've actually reached a lot of these lows for these altcoins. So let's hope Bitcoin just consolidates up here and doesn't see more sell pressure to the downside, even though we got that weekly MACD cross. Like I said before, the RSI got reset. We're no longer extremely overbought where it needs to be really pulled back a lot. It could just sit up here. And that would be really good for the altcoins because then they can catch up. Okay. All right. I think you guys get the point. Bitcoin and Ethereum Bitcoin kind of range bound. I think up here, Ethereum looks like it could make a move back up to the top of its range, the $2,800 to $3,000 region, with that doji candle that we just printed. Okay, that doji reversal candle that we just printed. We need to see follow through price action on that, but it looks to me like Ethereum may have put a bottom in. Okay. All right, let's look at some other assets here. Let's look at tether dominance, actually. I think that's really important to look at. That's going to give us a real big clue about what's going on. So our 3-day in the supply zone here, this is where we should see them offloading tether into crypto assets. I think that's where we should see it. We did put a 3-day sell signal in on the deviation. All right, and last time we did that here was back here. And I do have that plotted on the chart. You can see that ended up being pretty close to the top of that move here in actually the end of the bear market or into the bull run. All right, in 2024. I do want to look at our weekly. Our weekly is really important to look at. We did sort of reject into this resistance, but if you carefully look at this candle, it's technically engulfing last week's candle. Okay, that makes sense because we did see those big drawdowns. But you see this long wick? That means they were selling tether for the altcoins here or whatever crypto assets here. So that's a longer wick. I mean, it's not like long enough wick to be a full-on rejection, but let's see what ends up happening this week. We did put an early sell signal in for the weekly. This isn't in a squeeze or any sort of real big pressure cooker type of move. This is the dollar, okay? And so to me, when it's not in a squeeze or any sort of pressure cooker type of thing, to me, it's suggesting that we see tether come down maybe to the bottom Bollinger again, and then we get those moves up in crypto. Yes, our weekly stochastic is pointing up here. It is telling you that this did cross bullish on the weekly. The 2-day time frame is also becoming extended. The daily is also becoming extended here. We could start to see this roll over. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Over the next coming days, we could see tether start to roll over and the altcoins and Bitcoin start to tick back up. When the markets go into recovery mode or they just come out of a crash, it takes some time to build up that momentum again, right? Everyone's like kind of sitting back and watching the action. They're not sure what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But if you really, take a look at, fear and greed index, I don't know what this one is. Okay, yeah, so the market's in fear. Perfect. And when the market's in fear, what do you do in a bull market, guys? Not all at once. We got 9 people on the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I know most of you have, but if you haven't, that'd be great. This chat's dead, man. Let's go. What do you guys do when market's in fear in a bull run? You buy, right? Good job, Joseph. And so what do you buy? Do you buy assets? What type of assets are you guys buying, right? So like LOL but LOL but what? Added all your powder yesterday. Nice. Yeah, good. I've been rotating my capital into the assets that I think that went on major runs during this bull run that are pulled back like 90%, those are probably going to continue to run because they did perform really extremely well. All right. Nice. You should look at Game and Convo on Base, man. Those made massive moves. Those are infrastructure AI tokens on Base. Okay. I actually posted that in the swing trading channel for you guys. I think those are going to make some moves. Again, going to take some time to reset. Okay. Like we're still sort of catching falling knives on these charts. They haven't necessarily all put bottoms in, double bottoms, right? Weekly bullish engulfing candles type of things, right? But to get the best prices, sometimes you have to take that kind of risk. And I think it's worth it when RSIs are oversold on daily and 2-day timeframes. Those usually mark bottoms of charts, usually. A lot of the time, like with a high probability. We can be wrong. It could end up going lower. And that's fine. We can just continue to DCA those positions if we feel necessary, or we can just cut the trades, right? So that's kind of where I think we're at right now. We're in the, hey, is this the bottom? Hey, is the bull run still on? Hey, where are we at? That's right. That's right. I don't know if you guys are into the Pulse assets, but you got stuff like Wrap Bitcoin here looking pretty good. You had a nice pullback here since November. You can see the volume also receding. And you're just consolidating in a bull flag up here. I mean, I'm not saying that this can't come lower, but I think if this ends up holding this flag pattern here and this nice parabolic structure it's in, this asset performed, right? This asset performed very nicely over the last year or two. It's a nice chart. All right. I know people like, hey man, why are you shilling pulse chain assets? Because I think they're going to perform well. Aside from AI coins, aside from all these narrative plays, I think things like pulse chain or assets on pulse chain are going to also perform well. Also, you got the teddy bear, which is the meme coin on pulse chain. This chart is a pretty gnarly weekly reversal candle here, which you got the dump. I actually started buying here at the support level. Again, the weekly RSI reset down to neutral. I think that's good. Even if the Pulse assets start to perform, they all kind of move together, which is nice about Pulse Chain, right? I actually picked up a rather large position in Inc. And I'll show you why. They actually just lowered their inflation by 10x, which is going to really have an effect on the price. If you look at the high time frames, like the monthly chart, and you kind of take this off, and you can kind of see this asset just kind of starting to take a nice monthly structure down here, right? It's not in the moon, dude. It hasn't made a major rally, major run like a lot of these other altcoins on Pulse Chain. This is a core asset on Pulse Chain too. And I think there's some big news coming for the chain itself. I think the SEC case is going to be dropped. So I think that's what's kind of been holding back this chain from really exploding. I think you guys should take a look at it. I'm just saying, I like these charts. Look at the monthly RSI. It's down here, man, at a 25 reading. Low risk, right? Oversold territory on the monthly time frame. This could take 6 months to a year to play out, right? That's fine. This is a longer-term swing trade. You're at the bottom of a range here, or near the bottom of a range here. Once you start taking out this $5 region, there's not really too much up here on the monthly time frame, right? If I go off log scale, you're going to get a really better, clear idea about where this thing could go. All right. You got monthly candles up here at $22. That's what I'm thinking. At least a 10x move here for this asset, longer term. I say at least because you got a candle wick all the way up to $80. Maybe you go fill that wick later on here in the run. So there you go. That could be a 20, 30x maybe trade setup there, swing trade. All right. There's plenty of other assets on this chain, but I think this one's got enough liquidity to handle some size if you're willing to do that. Okay. We can look at other assets too, by the way. I was just kind of pointing something out that I'm in that maybe you guys want to look at. All right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, man. And you got weekly confirmations and, everything kind of confirming a move up on it. It all looks good from a technical point of view. And now you got a fundamental thing driving it. I think that could really, really do some cool things to that chart. And it's Richard Hart's like major main token, right? Aside from Hex and Pulse Chain, right? So, and Pulse X. So I think that looks good. Out of the cores, I think Inc. is the least heavy out of all of them. I think it's going to make a major move here in the next couple months. Is Dot dead? Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't think so. I don't think Dot's dead. I think it's. I think they actually got the Jam protocol that's going to be launched here in March. I mean, they didn't let this thing go back below, man. They just wicked it up, dude. So someone's on the bid here. Unfortunately, not a very deflationary token. It's extremely inflationary, this token. It doesn't really perform well because of that. But I would still say Dot's a blue chip asset. It's still a $7.5 billion market cap coin. It's the protector of all chains. It's Polkadot, man. I think long-term owning Polkadot down here is probably a steal. Like you're owning it back from 5 years ago. It's like the same price, which is a risk with the if you have limited capital, maybe you don't want to be putting it into this asset. But if you have a long-term approach with it, I think it's good. Yeah, I think that we just got the real flush here, man. I think that we flushed out a lot of the weekends here, and market just went into fear, and everyone's like on edge. And hey, are we really going to have an alt season and all that stuff? I think we're going to have an alt season because if you look at the others.d chart, it looks like we just put in a double bottom from our June low. All right. And typically, I mean, we can go to high time frame here too. And typically, I think this month we're going to see this monthly candle end up closing a bit higher here, is what I think. We close higher on the monthly there. Just what I think will happen. But if we really look at the previous alt runs, okay, the last alt run we had was from January, okay, 2021. And we had our first wave here in September 19. We pulled back. This was like our pullback, and then we continued. So we had something similar in June. This was in September, but we had our run in June to January. Then we just pulled back. And this is now February. It's about a month later, right? So I would say that this topped out in like May-ish. So we probably have a top in these alts probably around June or July, looks like. If we follow anything similar to the 2021 structure on others, I guess this is a better chart to look at. Yeah, so others coming down to the trend line with a wick on the monthly and the weekly here, tagging the fib extension. No big deal on the structure. The structure is intact. No break on the structure, right? Nice wick. Nice wick. Beautiful chart. It's still intact. Nothing's really changed, okay? Where do we end up going on this alt run? I don't know, but we can look at previous cycles. The previous cycle alt run, we ran into about the 1618 fib extension from our swing high to low. So I would probably expect something similar from our swing high to low, which was the 1618, which is about a 1.65 trill. Excluding the top 10 cryptos, so that we're looking at about a 5-6x from here in general. Obviously, some alts are going to do more than that, but overall, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. We got 11 people on the stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hopefully, you guys weathering the storm here. I know I've been cupping my you know what's here the last couple weeks. It's all right, man. I did take some profits in November. It's fine. This is unfortunately part of the process. And you guys have any assets you guys want me to look at in particular? Cool, man. Thanks for joining the stream tonight, brother. Pulse X, yeah, we can take a look at Pulse X. Pulse X looking pretty sexy on the chart right now. I gotta say, it looks very good. Higher time frame. Sonic and Peanut. Yeah, we can take a look at it, Dan. All right, man. So here's your Pulse X chart. You still got it, man. The 3-day bull div. Okay, this is just now kind of taking form. We're seeing the asset start to appreciate even more now with the pump.tire thing kind of helping the burn with Pulse X. Beautiful 3-day bullish engulfing candle put in last few days. The weekly candle just closed a bullish engulfing candle to break the what looked like a head and shoulder structure. We couldn't get above this neckline. We finally pushed through it on volume. Very nice looking structure here on Pulse X. You can see the beautiful accumulation that's happening with it here. Just higher lows off the trend line. We had one slight deviation here. They popped it back up, rallied it, came back down to retest it. Looks very nice. Very, very nice structure here on Pulse X versus the dollar. Very, very nice structure. And this looks like a very big triangle pattern, right? You know, if we go from the bottom of the first bottom of this triangle to the top of the triangle, it's about a 1,000% measured move out of the triangle, guys. You know, you don't necessarily always do the whole measured move, but to me, it looks like you might even be able to achieve that. I mean, that would be a 10x puts this at like a $50-60 billion market cap. So I think totally possible, especially if the major core assets really run on Pulse Chain. And we'll look at the TVL here in a second, but this to me looks very, very nice. Very, very nice structure. Okay. And here's the weekly Stochastic RSI giving you a clue. You haven't crossed yet, but you're about to cross here on the weekly chart. Very nice. You're pretty much about to get a buy signal here on the weekly time frame. If you're a swing trader and you see something like this, you definitely want to be positioning yourself accordingly, all right? Because usually these end up resolving to the upside here, especially when you're holding bullish control zone and you're holding stochastic RSI momentum like that. Near and Jupe, yeah, we'll take a look at it. All right, so that was Pulse X. We'll look at Sonic, which is basically Phantom, right? I think Sonic is Phantom, right? There is a 1-to-1 with that, right? That's basically what that is. Am I wrong? Is Sonic basically Phantom? I think it is, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can just look at the Phantom chart. No big deal. Yeah. So Phantom, man, tagging 33 cents back to the range low with a wick, big wick. Yep. Yeah, it looks really good in terms of where it put its low in. It looks like you're still making higher lows on the macro side here. Right? Low, higher low, higher low. Yeah, so I mean, you could see this come back up to $1 eventually. on this next wave. Maybe make a higher high if you break this neckline. Probably got a weekly reset on this thing. I haven't even looked at it, but you're getting the weekly reset right now. And your last reset was back here, right? And you ended up running from beautiful. You ended up running from about 30 cents to 140 on that push. Okay. Very nice. All right, there's your Sonic and Peanut USDT. That's probably on what's it called, right? That's probably on let's see, what's that on? That's on Deck Screener, right? Peanut. It's this one, Peanut the Squirrel. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, back to November levels. Oversold on the daily. Yep. I mean, coming back to a major support level here where it initially launched from. Probably not a bad area to look to take position. At least for a bounce or something, right? It's going to have to bounce off that level. Yeah, you got maybe a slight wedge pattern forming here. You know, not no confirmations, of course, just yet. But you know, oversold RSIs. Three-day chart here in the buy zone, 42, holding neutral. You can see the volume completely receded. So the selling is about done on the chart. All right. You had this volume kind of tick here. This was basically it for the move. You could have just exited the position here and just waited now till now. Now the volume's receded and you're in a falling wedge pattern. You could wait for the break or you could start accumulating at support. I think accumulating at support is not a bad play. That way you capture the whole move once it starts to happen. It takes months, man. It takes time. But yeah, this looks very nice looks very nice. Looks like a very nice structure. All right. Very nice. You can start to see the 4-hour RSI making higher highs and the price kind of just consolidating here. That's good. You're building up that momentum for the move is what you're doing. Peanut. Looks good, man. Nice request. All right, near protocol. Yeah, coming back into a demand zone here on the weekly. Man, it looks like you like started to complete an M shape, but you didn't really get enough down on an M shape there. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you got some more downside here on near. You're getting a monthly cross down here on momentum. So I think to say it, but you might get a little bit of a relief rally here to maybe go back up to test this neckline where you broke from. But you might end up just making a lower high and coming back down for another leg down. And I say that because it really looks like you're kind of putting an M shape in. You see the M shape for a Gartley pattern, and you could be looking at a buy zone around 180 or something. I could be wrong, but I would look. Yeah, I mean, if you can end up getting some range lows or the bottoms of fibs, you're in demand zone right now. You're probably oversold. You're probably going to get a push just like the rest of this market right now. But deep value is probably lower on high time frames. Low time frames, I think, like I said, we're probably going to get a push up. All right. Jupiter. I don't know. Is this all the data on Jupiter? Binance has it or something. Okay. Yeah. All right, man. Well, Jupiter just kind of range bound asset right now. Yeah, holding range lows here is good to see. There was a lot of token inflation with this coin. They even gave airdrops with it. So, I don't know what that's going to really do with the price, but really it's been doing a bunch of nothing burger the whole run. I don't know. I probably wouldn't own this asset personally, but it doesn't look terrible. It's stuck in a range until it ends up breaking a range. Right, so it doesn't look bad even down here. Right here is like the bottom of the range, pretty close to it. 66 cents was the bottom, but this is obviously closer to the bottom of the range. And you can trade the range, man. You can just trade this back up to, $1.20. If it gets to the way top of the range, even better, $1.40. If you start making closures above there, well, then you can be contesting the all-time high, which is $1.80. And, if you end up taking out $1.80, you could see price discovery move up to $5.50. That's, what every trader's dream is, to see price discovery when you swing it from the bottom of a range. But yep, I think low risk areas here for range trading this thing. If you're into that, you can definitely range trade it. You might even set up like a grid bot on this thing. It looks like it's just range bound. Grid bot's probably not a bad strategy to play on that until it breaks a range. Cool. That's your Jupiter. What else did you guys want to look at tonight? JITO, another Solana asset. Let's see what JITO looks like. It looks like a lot like Jupiter, actually, just kind of sitting in this range here. I mean, you had an initial move out here in 2024 to $4. You're sitting around a 50% discount from that level. Yeah, again, bottom of the range, top of the range here on 330. You take 330 out, you're looking at $4. You break $4, you go into price discovery. Same type of conversation we just had about Jupiter. We just covered PulseX. PulseX looks really good. We can look at PWBTC and PDI. Yeah, sure. PWBTC on deck with DAI. All right. Yeah, Peanut Coin looks pretty good, man. Yeah, I gotta say that looks good. All right, wrap Bitcoin on Pulse Chain. So the only thing I don't like is the weekly crossing down here. I do like the fact that they held the bottom of this range with a pretty large candle body, but I don't know if that's enough buy pressure to actually hold this up from going further down, because the momentum is still slated to the downside here versus the dollar. The 3-day also telling you some more downside. The daily here, trying to tick up here, which is why we got this. We got a little bit of bids here that came in, but I don't know if it's enough to keep this supported up here. We are above the daily 200 moving average, which is good. We are towards the bottom of this range. So again, if this does, if you are in the camp of range trading something like this, that you want to take a risk on it, you are towards the bottom of this trading range, and you could trade it to the top of the trading range until you break a range. But yeah, just note that the high time frames are still a bit extended. The monthly RSI here kind of pointing down. You're at 57, which is still bullish control zone. And you have a long bullish engulfing candle here that, it might need to get filled down to like 280 potentially. That could happen. Against the dollar anyway. It could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it's a possibility to happen if we see continued momentum here to the downside against the dollar on wrap Bitcoin. And it looks like, you might get some chop here. You're not really able to break back above this $1,000 region. It's having some trouble. I would actually call this probably a bit of a bear flag here on your wrap Bitcoin, right? If the momentum's ticked down, that means we'll probably see a continuation to the downside on wrap Bitcoin. But if the core assets start to push, then that TA goes out the window, because the core assets run, then these assets also run because they're all paired with liquidity bonding on chain. So we'll see how this plays out. If PulseX and Pulse and Hex, they all start to rip, I think that wrap Bitcoin could probably catch a bid and also go up. But you could kind of see that it's displaying a bit of weakness here. It tried to rally and failed, came back into the structure, bounced off this, made a higher low, which is good. But today you kind of got some not the best price action with these rejections here. You can clearly see we're kind of consolidating in this triangle. And we could end up just breaking down out of the triangle. And, that's about a 46% drop, which would take you to about $400. Nobody wants to hear it, and nobody wants to believe that, but that is a potential scenario that could happen. And if it does hold the triangle and we do get upside, we're looking at a 46% move up. That's what we're looking at on wrap Bitcoin. All right, so that's that. PDI. PDI probably looks similar to wrap Bitcoin here. You had this little wedge that attempted to break and failed. You're resting on previous all-time high territory here. You went into price discovery. You ended up making a lower high up here and kind of rolled over. And you can see they're trying to maybe hold this level here, but it actually kind of looks a lot like the teddy bear chart in a way. Those lower highs being put in like that. Again, your 3-day momentum still resetting. Your 3-day RSI is now entering neutral territory, which makes it, start to become a buy on these time frames. But like the weekly, the weekly is, I guess just bouncing or holding, bullish control zone. You don't want to see it go too much lower is what I'm trying to say. If it's going to go lower, it's not going to be pretty. It's probably going to have a major continuation down if that happens. You've already done about a 70% drawdown, but typically this asset does about 90% drawdowns from what I remember. Yeah, 86%. So 86% takes you to about, right here to this 0.005 region. You could be looking at that. All right, that could potentially happen. That would create a massive buying opportunity. It'd probably reset your whole oscillator to really catalyze its next major leg up. All right. So PDI could get a little bit more wrecked here a bit. This did actually print a weekly bearish engulfing, whereas wrap Bitcoin ended up holding its level, holding its range. Right. If we go back to that, you can clearly see that the candle body close was actually right at the candle body low here. So wrap Bitcoin looks a little bit stronger than PDI right now, I would say. But still, ultimately, this candle here, not really enough to move it out. Like if this closed up here or like a doji or we got more of a green bar on this candle, then that was the bottom or something, right? But we don't necessarily know. We just know this is the bottom of the range here for wrap Bitcoin, and it's holding it for now until we either A, get more sell pressure, or B, we go sideways, or we start to confirm this as a real low. Okay. I'd like to see it consolidate. It might end up doing what Bitcoin's doing and just consolidate up here. That'd be really bullish to see. We'd really like to see that. What's going on, Toe? We haven't even covered the traditional markets yet. We'll get there in a second. All right. So PulseX we covered, PDI, wrap Bitcoin, and those we covered. Let me know what else you guys want to cover. All right, Tesla. Look at Tesla. Oof. Yeah, daily breakdown. Man, probably gap fill region here around 345. If the NASDAQ continues to sell off here, or I should say Tesla. I don't think the NASDAQ was really selling off too much, was it? It might have been. Actually, let's look at the dollar, man. The dollar index is really important to look at. We didn't look at that. Oh, the dollar, man. The dollar on the daily here looks like it's trying to double bottom. We did get, and I did plot this earlier, we did, which is interesting. Okay, we did have a rising wedge here on the dollar. A bit of a rising wedge here on the dollar, okay? If you really take a look at it, and we came into that 109 region, which was supply zone, but it is confirming and holding this level as support after its break here, all right? I'd like to see the dollar actually go down. And if we look at the monthly time frame on the dollar, well, we actually printed a doji candle on the monthly. Those aren't necessarily good candles for continuations up. All right. This could take some months to play out before we actually see the dollar come off, which will give us some time to see what happens. I would, in the risk assets right now, I'd be cautionary in the stock market because of the dollar is displaying still some strength. Okay. If we start to see the monthly candles start closing below 106, there's a really good chance we go to the bottom of the range. And, well, that will be completely risk on if we do something like that. If we end up holding this and we continue higher, you know that that's going to be problematic. And we know that the stock market could probably continue to sell off. Same with crypto, too, to boot, by the way. Crypto actually just is a byproduct. Is an even more higher risk asset than stock market. So paying attention to that pretty closely here. We're holding a fib extension. If this is consolidation and isn't like hey man, the dollar's going to get wrecked type of thing, then yeah, we're in some trouble. I would say we're definitely in some trouble. But we did get. I would say, I think in the next coming months, the dollar is going to probably pull back because we did get monthly Bollinger Band deviation here. Just like we got monthly Bollinger Band deviation here. I mean, yes, we also had it here and it didn't pull back, right? But this was when they were increasing rates. We have a Fed that's not increasing rates right now. They're pausing or they're cutting right now. So in my opinion, I think that trend shifted, right? And so now we're paying attention to what's going on here. We have to also realize that the monthly MACDs here are just starting to create positive momentum. We could easily, if we get a couple months of bad price action on the dollar, this could end up rounding out, and then we make like bearish divergence. Not really bearish divergence because it would be a lower high, but we would then lose momentum and see kind of the dollar roll back over. All right, and we're kind of paying attention to that because that could be a big driver in making these assets continue to appreciate. All right. So I'm watching that. I mean, we haven't got that confirmation at all. So having dry powder right now is probably a good play to have some cash on hand for kind of just protecting yourself from these risk assets. All right. I didn't do NQ or S&P yet, but I would still say that the S&P is probably still kind of also entering that risk off type of region because of what the dollar looks like and is doing right now. And your monthly momentum is up here, dude. It's like it's really up here. I mean, we didn't make any bearish divergence yet or anything on the monthly momentum, but man, I'd be a little cautionary up here. You're really up there. NASDAQ actually is up. Futures are up right now, so they're probably trying to price in what the dollar is going to do here in the next coming months. And if the dollar is going to tick down, then the reason why the NASDAQ and the S&P are going to continue higher is because the smart money knows what's coming here in the next coming months with the Fed, and maybe we get some continued upside. I want to also look at global liquidity because that's a really important thing to look at. When Bitcoin consolidates global liquidity usually is just starting to tick up, okay? Usually what happens is you get an expansion phase in global liquidity, and Bitcoin and risk assets then appreciate about a month or two after you get that expansion on global liquidity. So I don't know if do I actually have that on this chart? I don't think I do. Let me go to my other chart. Probably have it there. So let's see. Global liquidity index. Do I have? I thought I did have it on this chart. Maybe I don't. Moving averages chart, maybe. I forget what chart I have it on here, guys. Give me a second. Okay, yeah, I have it here. Okay, cool. So let's go to the S&P, and then we'll look at global liquidity because it'll be very prevalent here on this chart. Right. Okay. So here, it's very clear. Global liquidity made a top up here in September of 2024. The markets then about a month or two after that, crypto markets made a top about a month or two after global liquidity topped out. So global liquidity bottomed out here in January, and it's now February, and we're just seeing these capitulations happen, right? We just saw a capitulation happen. So we probably have another few weeks of sideways or maybe even down in the crypto market. As long as global liquidity starts to continue to tick up, I think that we lag about 2 months from global liquidity, right? And we'll get some more information from the Fed in March too about what they're doing with rates and what they're doing with QE. If they're going to do QE, if they're not, then, well, we may not even see any real crazy price action after that. So that's something to watch, but I do think we're going to get it. Yeah, so like I said, I think maybe some relief on these assets after they just pulled back a bunch. We might end up making lower highs and come back down to retest those lows. That would make some sense. Some assets just might start taking off. Obviously, certain altcoins might just do that. There's some are stronger than others. And those are the ones you probably want to be positioning yourselves into because they're going to probably continue those trends throughout the rest of this cycle. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Aave and some that are working, can they continue? I don't know what you mean by that. Which Aave are you talking about? Are you talking about Pulse Chain Aave, or are you talking about the real Aave there, wild man? Sorry, I didn't see that question before. I got into deep thought here on the global liquidity. Why everything's stinky? Well, I kind of just explained it. It has a lot to do with money movement and global liquidity and trade wars and whatever other BS they're throwing at these markets right now to throw them off. But I think those are all just distractions, really. I don't really like to follow news much because I think those are really distractions. TRX is ripping too. Yeah, TRX actually has been pretty much a stable asset this whole cycle. Not stable, but like relatively in a nice uptrend. Yeah, Aave, coming back down to the fib extension here, putting in a higher low. If this is the low, it's definitely in a nice parabolic uptrend. This has definitely been a great performer this cycle for blue chip DeFi coin, the biggest blue chip DeFi coin, I believe. Yeah, and looks like we got a target of about $1,000 if this ends up holding the structure and can continue its run, probably for the next few months out. And you got your weekly reset, you got your bounce here, probably some consolidation and sideways here into these next couple days, couple weeks. Like I said before, we might even just get a pop back up to retest the breakdown. And then we just come back down again to retest the low, and we get a double bottom, and then we start really picking up momentum, right, to go higher. That could take some time. But yeah, Aave looks good. It hasn't broken structure really. It just held this fib extension. It's technically making a higher low than 155. That's good. Macro structure looks good from the high time frame. Yeah, I mean, this to me looks like it's going to do something like that. And you got Trump buying Aave and Trump buying TRX and Trump buying ETH, right? INJ looking good too, yeah. INJ, I think INJ eventually can maybe get to like 130s or something later on if it really starts to hold the range. Sol. My only concern with Sol is yeah, I mean, I kind of had a wave structure plotted here for Sol. Maybe I don't think it's going to get to $2,000, but yeah, maybe $600 later on for Sol if this structure kind of holds and goes sideways here. Looks like it wants to hold here. It's above the daily 2-day and it's holding above its daily 200 moving average, which is good. You want to see that? Yeah, so Sol doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good. XRP. Sure. XRP looks fine. Holding its fib extension here. You got a wick below to almost tag, 170s. I still think it's on track to like $7-8 here. That's still the measured move that I had plotted. Could take some time to reset though. Okay. Yeah. So you actually have a candle body high that's higher than this candle body high, and it's a back test, right? It's a back test. This is such a nice looking chart. Really, it looks very predictable what it's going to do. Nice long structure built there for XRP. Very nice. Yeah, Litecoin. Let's take a look at it. Litecoin. I think Litecoin actually looks fine here on the monthly. If this holds, you just kind of back tested $80. You got your long-term accumulation trend line there. You got your resistance up here. It looks like it looks like a major ascending triangle potentially on Litecoin, and this is where you would break in the 50% away through the structure. So Litecoin, if it gets bids, could make a major move if it breaks its all-time high. So man, you could be looking at a 900% measured move on an ascending triangle breakout. Probably, yeah, it could get to maybe $700-800 this cycle. That's what it looks like. Litecoin, man, that actually looks pretty good. 500 bucks, $560. Major fib extension. First major fib extension. Wow. Yeah, nice chart, Litecoin. Charlie Lee must be really printing these candles, man. Charlie Lee. Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I think it looks fine. Nice retest from your range break here. Nice pullback on a monthly time frame there. Looks good. Now it's just consolidating here. Yeah. That looks pretty good to me. Pretty good to me. It has a lot of upside, I would say. Even if it doesn't end up breaking out to all-time high, it's still got some nice upside to the all-time high. Yeah, about a 2-3x move. Not bad. How's our ETH Bitcoin ratio doing, man? Oh my god. Brutal. I know, dude. It was a joke, bro. Yeah. Let's go to the line chart on this. Yikes, man. Dude, ETH Bitcoin ratio is just awful. All right, man. Well, you're sitting at a major support level here from 2020. So if that doesn't hold well, you're going to go to like 2019 lows on the ratio. Awful. Looks awful. Totally wrecked, dude. RSI on the monthly is totally wrecked, dude. Sitting at 28. It's gotta be a buy here, man. At what point is this a buy? ENS? Yeah, we'll take a look at ENS. Sorry. Maybe. Okay, ENS line chart. Yeah. Yeah, not bad. If this is the retest here, it's not bad. I just don't like how this, yeah, I mean, it is just chugging up higher, right? So like, it doesn't look bad. 48 on the weekly RSI, kind of holding this neutral range here. If this pullback was the pullback, then I think, yeah, maybe some more sideways consolidating. You might even come back down one more time to retest it before, try and trend up or, eventually break higher. But yeah, you can clearly see this is in an uptrend from the October lows. It's just been basically respecting this channel. Pretty much just higher highs and higher lows all the way up. Very nice chart. And yeah, almost tagged the bottom of the channel. Very nice. You got bought. Oh, you got the nice wick there. So that's good. Looks good. Nice demand line there. You can clearly see it. Every single time you touch it, you bounce off of it. Wicked into it, bounced off of it, holding above it right now. Yeah, I think short term here, if these altcoins start to get some bids, you might be able to go up to test, $30, maybe come back down one more time or retest 22s, and then maybe get back up at the top of this channel to build up that momentum, that divergence again there like that. Something like that. Like I said, I think we get some relief here in the next coming days, maybe next week's. Then we get our retests, and then we get to see what happens with the dollar. We need that monthly candle, those next 2 monthly candles, to kind of show us the direction of what the Fed's doing. If they're going to start QE, blah blah blah. If they do start all that stuff, then I think we are going to be going on our way. If we aren't already, I think we've put in a low, and like I said, markets take some time to digest what just happened before new capital inflows start coming in like that. Yeah. Agree. Anyways, you guys know my take here. If we end up taking out, Bitcoin ends up taking out its like $90,000 range, we got some trouble ahead. I'll say that. If we do break that low, man, these altcoins are going to go lower. Like they just are. But I think we get some relief here first before they do go lower, if they're going to go lower. So I expect some short-term upside. That's what I'm trying to say. next coming weeks here, coming days here, I think we see some upside. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. DNA, did that thing run, dude? Man, remember you telling me about this stock a while ago. Oh, nice, dude. I mean, dude, the weekly still got room to run. You are towards the top of this trading range here, though. What's your daily looking like? I would say it's actually holding. If it holds above the daily 200, then that's a trend shift. That's a trend reversal. You can clearly see the accumulation happening on it. You want to know a stock I just took a trade on, man? This thing is so effing wrecked. I'm going to show you guys here in a second before I run. But yeah, if it's holding this parabola structure, you can clearly see one low, second low, higher low, third higher low, double bottom, run. It got rejected here at the top here, pulled back. You know, kind of holding this range. We might get some consolidation here for a bit, but it looks like it's setting up to try to test it again. You're holding the daily 200. I think you're in good shape because that's usually a trend reversal. Okay, but yeah, you got some divergence. There's definitely some divergence on the chart on the daily. The weekly, not so much. The weekly's got room to run. You actually just busting out of a squeeze on the weekly. Yeah, I would hodl this, dude. If you got a good entry on this thing, I'd chill with it. Why not? It's fine on the weekly. And your monthly is probably still wrecked. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, you could probably hold this for like the next year and you'd probably be all right. This thing could probably make it all the way back up to $40. You might, I mean, you know what you might end up doing though along the way is you might end up retesting, okay? Making a higher low somewhere for this real breakout. If this stock is going to really recover. Yeah, I would watch that. Like usually after you get these major moves out like this, you get pullbacks, major pullbacks. I'd be paying attention to that weekly momentum because that might. Your weekly momentum looks fine right now. Okay, yeah, the 2-day here is kind of implying maybe some downside. Yeah, I think yeah, take some profit. Not sure what your entry was, but I'm sure you got in, towards this low, which is great, man. And then just swing trade the rest of it. Just forget about it for a while. I think longer term this chart looks good. Beautiful, nice trade. Nice trade, sir. This stock, you guys are going to laugh, man. I'm playing some of these real low caps right now, but this thing got almost $1 billion of trading volume on Friday, bro. $1 billion for a penny stock, dude. Are you kidding me? Like this is doing more volume than some major stocks. $1 billion of trading volume. Did you guys hear that? $1 billion of trading volume. Billion. 1B. $816 million of trading volume on Friday. And this chart is wrecked. Look at the 2-day. Bullish divergence. 3-day bullish divergence. This thing's going to run, dude. Like this looks like massive breakdown out of a falling wedge pattern. This is the dip before the major rip back into the structure. MGOL. Look at that volume, bro. Like that's what eluded me to take this trade. Also the divergence, of course, but divergence is something to look at for like any asset, right? For reversals, but the volume is what is pushing the price to really, make that divergence play really nice. And yeah, I think that this might pull back on, this week or something, whatever. After this massive rip 4x off the low, but that divergence isn't done. That shit's not overbought. Like what? That's not even close to done. You got a monthly, you're going into a monthly squeeze, 3-week, 2-week, weekly, 3-day. You know, like this just about to break daily squeeze. This looks nuts, man. Like this looks nuts. Really, really nuts. Yeah. Yeah, I think this could swing up to like $2 before a major drawdown, and then you end up coming back down to the bottom of the wedge, and kind of like what I drew, and you make like a double bottom or something, and then eventually you just break out of the wedge because like this thing has tons of momentum behind it. Like it's so wrecked on the chart. If this stock is recovering and the smart money is ripping billions of dollars into this down here, something going on, man. Something going on. I don't think this is just like, let's short squeeze it. No, I think this is like something going on with this company. I don't know. But that looks decent. Another one that I bought was this one, B-Hat. Not as strong as that other one I just looked at, but still nice trading volume. $212 million of trading volume on Friday. It's a $13 million market cap stock, dude. Something going on with this too. Descending broadening formation maybe on this. The daily 200 moving average is up here at 60 cents. It's 10x away. Okay. Yeah, these are some low risk area trades. I don't have like double bottoms or stuff like that. It's kind of like we had some consolidation down here for a little bit, and now it's just starting to reverse its trend or starting to try to push. On volume, though, there is volume coming in these assets. Here's your 2-day stochastic RSI pointing up, your 3-day stochastic RSI pointing up, your weekly crossing bullish, your monthly, about to reset. Apps. I actually have that one on my chart or on my watch list. Yeah, this looks great. This chart looks great. I charted this already. I was looking at this. You had a nice double bottom. This is a different structure though, but yeah, very nice structure. You break this neckline, you could easily pop to the top here, $27. There's nothing here. It's just straight down. You have this little level right here, I guess, that you used or that you got rejected from initially before you went to your all-time high. There is this $8 region, but that's it. This right here is just down and straight up and straight down, straight up. This stock looks good too. Monthly squeeze. Beautiful. Beautiful structure on this. Very nice. I am trading one of the Asian stocks here, Billy. I don't know if this is really going to play out, but it looks okay. Let's see. Yeah, I liked Billy because it was holding this moving average here. The weekly giving me the reset, right? You can see the weekly giving me the reset. China's in QE right now too, by the way. So I think all the Asian stocks are going to start to run. This stock has earnings coming up here at the end of the month. I am trading a longer term time frame option call on this for June expiry, which gives me ample time to be right on this. Buying towards the bottom of the range. Top of the trading range here, $27. You can clearly see it's kind of holding these higher lows here. It looks to me like it's gonna make a nice move back up, at least the top of the trading range. But if you look at some of the other Asian stocks, they're all breaking out. So like Baba broke out, right? Baba broke out, back tested and rallied. This JFIN stock broke out. Decent sized market cap, 451 million. Doesn't do a lot of trading volume, but this is a nice chart. Now you can see the higher highs and higher lows coming here. It's going. It looks like it wants to go parabolic, right? You can see that. Baidu actually looks like it's bottomed out down here. This is probably not a bad long-term buy if you're into the Asian stocks. This looks pretty good down here, risk to reward wise, for a long-term play. I didn't take a trade on this, but this actually looks pretty good. Yeah, so I think some of the Asian stocks look pretty good right now. as well. LI Auto. I don't know what this one. This is a electric vehicle company. Yeah, this one's easy to trade. It's just range bound. Just trading range bound here. Again, the weekly crossing up with the squeeze. Yeah, this looks good. If the Asian stocks are going to run, then they're all going to just go together, right? They all work together. NIO, I haven't looked at it, but let's take a look at it. Yeah, maybe a third higher low down here. Not confirmed, but weekly maybe telling you some things with momentum. Maybe going to come back in. They got earnings coming up in March. So yeah, maybe it's bottoming out down here. Looks like it is. This stock looks pretty good, man. This one, this Asian stock here. This looks good. Holding the weekly 200-day moving average, reclaimed it for the first time since December of 21. That's a major development. This to me looks like it's gonna like shoot off to the moon. Okay, something like that. 5-wave structure like that. Ticket. Ticker for what? Sorry. This one? Tencent Holdings? Oh, sorry. TCEHY. Yeah, this one looks like it's going to blast. Like, it's going to take some time, but it looks like it's going to blast. Yeah, like long-term type of stuff, not like 2 weeks and it blasts. Like, we're talking months, maybe a year, maybe years. Long-term stuff here, man. Not a day trade. Okay. Here's your 6 month that just crossed up on the bands. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, like what? You had, one massive Elliott wave here. You did your little correction. Now you're going to go into your 3-wave. Your 3-wave is the biggest wave. You're going to get your 4th wave, and you're going to get your 5-wave. I'm talking decades out for this. This looks crazy. Okay. But yeah, you have 5 Elliott waves. Your 3-wave is your biggest wave structure. So if you believe in this company is a $497 billion company. I don't really know what they do, but it doesn't really matter because this chart is telling you some things about its wave structure. Right? Yeah, and look at your 6-month stochastic. Okay. It's at the bottom, dude. 6-month stochastic at the bottom. So like long-term investor stuff, this goes into a long-term portfolio and you just don't touch it until your 6-month stochastic gets up here. And then you're going to probably get a big crash. But by that time, you probably ended your wave 3. I'm just saying those 6-month stochastic take years. Yeah. Toyota TM, robotics and aviation. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Toyota Motors. Toyota's chart actually doesn't look too bad. Nice uptrend. Holding a long-term uptrend. Not bad. Not the best, though. I don't really like how it's starting to put in lower highs here. Yeah, not something I really would want to buy up here, truthfully, to be honest with you. just laying it out, man. Just doesn't look the best. You know, monthly cross down here. Probably get some drawdown here on this asset. A bit of drawdown on this asset. Sure, it'll be fine. It's Toyota, right? JD. I remember I gave this trade setup a long time ago down in this $20 region. It hasn't really produced too much just yet, but I think it's going to. It's flagged up here. Once it starts taking out this $50 region, I think it's going to make a big move. Right? This is a descending broadening formation. That oh, would you look at that? That's beautiful. Breakout and back tested the trend line. Yeah, man. JD, one of the biggest online retailers in China. This stock looks good, man. It looks good. You start taking out these $50 regions, I think you got $100 on deck. Might take 6 months to a year, but yeah, looks good. Teladoc, man, right? Wild man, you took the Teladoc trade. You lit, bro. That stock's kind of a slow mover, but I like the structure on it down there. Look pretty good. Starting to perform now. Still a buy down here, I would say. Very, very wrecked. Very, very wrecked. Still a buy on the monthly, man. You're just getting out of oversold territory. I think you got some major moves coming. It would really make a lot of sense for it to get back up to this level here. This $36 region on the monthly. You know, maybe even here, it doesn't matter. 23 bucks. You're probably going to tag this moving average here on the weekly around 16 and maybe pull back down, make a higher low somewhere, and then pivot and run again. These guys got earnings coming up in February. It's probably going to be some good earnings. You know why? Because the chart's saying upside. So I called out Zoom at like what, 60 bucks or something? 65 bucks. Down here at the wedge, the bottom of the wedge. Yeah, we called this one out a while ago. But looks nice. Yep, long-term time frames, man. Usually, if you can identify stuff on longer-term time frames, it takes time, but you'll get results. BBAI, man, what about this? Do you guys remember this call down here at $1.20? Where was the BBAI call? I remember calling that thing out. That thing fucking ripped. BBAI, let's see. When did I call out BBAI? June 28th, 2024. There it is. The entry was given at $1.28. Sick. Yeah, it's gone, dude. And I think it could go into price discovery. Look at this volume, dude. This isn't done. This looks like it's going to the moon, bro. Like, I think this thing's going to 30 bucks. Hasn't even done a first Elliott wave. Right? Think about it that way. We gave an entry down here. There's no reason to get out of this position if you're in it long term. No. What's going on, Veritas? All right. Well, how's Roku doing? Roku looks interesting on the monthly too, by the way. Once it ends up breaking this rectangle, I think it's got some juice in it here. It's got some juice in it. It looks like a butterfly. I'm not even Trying to say, but it looks like a butterfly, man. It looks like a butterfly long term. Yeah, looks like a butterfly long term. Cool. Yeah, appreciate all you guys tuning in. Man, just kind of sit tight with the crypto right now. I think we got a bit of consolidation ahead of us here, and I think we'll be okay. All right. Nice. Convo looks like it bottomed out. I got a nice bag on this one, guys. This one looks good. If you guys took this trade. All right. I'm out. Talk to you guys later.